Hello and welcome in. My name is Jacob Aaron. This is my attempt at making a podcast. I want to have this podcast because it is different than what I typically do. It is challenging. It is not going to be easy. What I do currently an engineer, and I do a lot of technical type things, a lot of math equations, a lot of theories, a lot of boring math and science stuff. And I wanted to find an outlet where I can do something more creative, more free flowing, more things that don't have exactly defined structures for it, where it kind of ebbs and flows and you find your way as you go. Just do what you think is best. That led me to trying out podcasts. My creative abilities in other areas are very limited. Not a good singer, been told that by many people many times. Not a great musician. Tried the piano when I was younger, tried trombone. Also, those did not go the best. Not a great writer. Joked many times that with my family that I can't read or write the best. I've been getting better at the reading part of it, but that's just myself and not speaking out loud publicly with others. The drawing part, that I haven't tried fully. What I have tried with it is just drawing shapes when I get bored, but they never turn out like anything. Just a bunch of squares, triangles, rectangles, lines that don't look like anything. But I guess that's what some art looks like. Some art you'd say, oh, that's not exactly anything. That's just an abstract thing. But I think mine is goes one step further than abstract. It's abstract of the abstract. That's how I call my drawings. But one thing that I know I can do, I can talk. That hasn't been an issue for me. Been got in trouble a lot growing up for talking too much and too loudly. That's something I'm gonna have to make sure I don't do here is talking too loudly. Hopefully, I'll be able to edit that how in a way that makes it about the same level. People don't have to keep changing their volume buttons. There have been times where I would do that, like for TVs. For channels, they definitely make the commercials louder just so that you have to pay attention to it. Man, that get annoying a lot of the times. But the editing part of it, that I've had to look up how to do. Been a lot of different ways to do that. The first way was just looking at the files through Audacity, which is just the sound thing that I found. And then, because that was like the first thing that I said, oh, you want to record something, this is how you record it. Like, okay, that's not the video portion of it. So that's kind of just, I don't know, not as exciting. Not looking at yourself. And yeah, that was, like I said, just audio. But I want to do video portion of it. So I tried to figure out how to do that, looked up for it, Googled a couple things, looked things up on Chat GPT. I think Chat GPT, they need to figure out just a word or a phrase people can say to let people know that they looked it up on their website or used their tool. They said I Googled something. We can't really say I Chat GPT'd something. That's, like I said, not great with English. How many syllables that is? Chat GPT. I like 5 syllables at least. I chatted something. I GPT'd it. That now doesn't roll off the tongue, but I'm sure it'll come up with somewhat. Maybe if I asked it, ChatGPT bot, yeah, that's probably the next thing for it because I Bing something. That didn't stick around. That was for a little bit. Are they? I think they're still around. I don't know. I haven't gone on it. The only time I go on it is when my default browser messes up and changes it from Google to Bing. But that is not, I don't know, that even that didn't stick around for Google. ChatGPT, I think they figured that out. But yeah, looked up how to do a podcast, and I don't know. They probably make it too easy to do for anyone to have it. And other people, some people get paid more, some people just do it out of they like doing it. This, I don't know, this probably have to be a grassroots movement, which I said that earlier today to someone. It's like, oh, it'll have to be a grassroots upbringing for this. What does that mean? Grassroots? That should mean there's a lot of grass in an area. A lot of people like it there because grassroots, you pull a piece of grass, there's not much holding it into the ground. But yeah, grassroots movement or a cult classic. That's another for those two things, a cult classic. I know there's some movies I like and music I like. There's like, oh, that's gained a big cult classic following after it dropped on DVD. Like, I don't understand what that means. You say it took a while for the right audience to find it. I think that's the best. Well, definitely not the best way to describe it. That's what I think about it is they were marketing to the wrong people at first. And then when they found people marketed to wasn't as many to make them all the money they wanted. That's probably what cult classic is. Grassroots. They hear cult classic when it comes to movies and TV shows. Grassroots. Does that explain more about like social things, about music things? So remember, this is like, I think it's the Eric Church song. It's a grassroots revival song. I think that's what comes up to it. Yeah. So they make it too easy to have podcasts, which that's probably very evident by this recording right now. But see what happens. See how long this lasts, how long I want to record things by myself right now. Maybe in the future, maybe bring in someone else to do this with, so it's not just me talking to myself, because that I get tired of that. Definitely being in my own head for it, it is tiring. Way too many things going on that aren't important that I don't know, aren't the most interesting going on in my head, but sometimes when it gets going, watch out because yeah, that wasn't I didn't have a joke in mind for that. That brings us to what type of podcast is this? It's probably not gonna be a sports one. I talk about it, but that has a lot of people doing it already, a lot of people who know a lot more about sports than I do. It's a lot more time consuming. So there's people stay up late into the evenings, early in the mornings, and it's all day, every day, every transaction, every free agent, every little play gets overanalyzed by people that are more involved in it than I am. Um, I think science and technology. Like I said, I'm an engineer, so I know some about the science part of it, but there's science stuff I know. No one's interested in it. There's couple dozen people who are interested in it, and those people are already aware of what I do. So all the interesting science things like biology, how stars are made, things like that, natural disasters, no, that's not what I know. This probably won't be a science and technology like phones and stuff like that. That's way too in-depth technology than what I know. So it's kind of like more of a leisure, laid back, whatever comes to my mind. Probably won't be a current event. Might be some that interest me that I have something to bring up about, but I'm not going to try and go through the news, what's happening constantly. No one is getting their news from me. There are there are many other people that do it much better, more insightful, more up to date, have more of a historical view than what I do. So yeah, no one's coming to me, seeing how, yeah, what's going on in politics, what's going on in other countries. I don't know what's going on in this country. What would make me talk about things that are going on in depth in other countries? They, I don't know how other governments work. I barely, I've a country a couple times. The places I went, I don't know how things work there. It'll be, I don't know, I guess won't be a well, I don't know, because comedy is such a broad term. This probably won't be it. I'm not gonna say things that necessarily make people laugh intentionally. Might stumble upon it throughout the way. I'll say things that make me laugh. Doing this entire thing, I'm not laughing right now. When I send this to someone else to watch, listen, then I'll just be laughing at myself. But that'll take a little bit of time. First, there'll be the uncomfortable part of listening to myself speak. I've recorded and listened to myself a couple times that, yeah, I don't think anyone likes to hear themselves speak or talk, no matter how, well, probably a couple people that do, but it is few and far between. No matter how good a singer you are, I don't know how you could listen to yourself because they're probably their own worst critic. They're saying, "Oh, this is messed up because we're supposed to hit this note, did this other one, went too fast, didn't enunciate stuff correctly." But it has to be one of the toughest things to do. So this might be probably more like a leisure, laid back, whatever comes to my mind. I'll take notes throughout time, record whenever. Need to get on a consistent basis for that. We'll see. Usually I have some time on the weekends to record things, so maybe that will be the best time if things get released. Big if, because I might do this once or twice and then just stop doing it. I don't know. We'll see. I don't, I'd be interested to hear why other people started their podcasts. Were their thoughts, oh, I have all this information, I need it to get out. I mean, more, I don't know, like science based, technology based, news based. Like, oh, someone needs to hear this. This is an outlet for it. But other people, it's like, I don't know, maybe they're selling something, trying to promote something else. Is there anyone's like, I want a podcast, just podcast. That's it. I'm interested to hear what their reason is for that. If they thought it's probably not, they're thinking that this is the most important thing. People need to hear this. This needs to get out. They did. That's pretty self-centered. And I don't think they would be good working with others and having a podcast that goes a longer period of time. Maybe it's to make people laugh. And that goes, yeah, that goes to the comedy one. Makes people laugh. I think that would be a valid one. I think this one can make people laugh. I don't know what the laughs per minute will be, but I don't know, maybe we'll get one or two. One or two, that's enough because it's best medicine. So yeah, I don't know what the medicine would be to improve things health wise, how many laughs per minute you need. But if we get one in however long this goes, uh, how, oh, I probably need to stop just making noises to fill time. That's something I learned in presentation class I took when I was an intern. A guy came in to teach us how to give presentations. This guy, I don't know how he did it. Every word he said, he would be looking into someone's eyes. He'd say three words here, another three words here, another four words here. And then he wouldn't be scanning, like, don't scan around the room, don't talk while doing this. So then you're just like a sprinkler saying words. But when the presentations came, every single person who took that class just went like this the entire time. Like, yeah, this guy's been doing it for a long time. He would try to get us moves to do. He'd be like, here, take your hands, serve them a sandwich, serve them a sandwich, take your arm, cut it up, serve them, cut them up sandwiches, hand it to them. And when you're up on the slideshow, put your hand out like a weather person to point them through it. It was crazy. This guy was doing it a long time. And I thought, we're taking this class for 2 hours today. And you want us to be able to give a presentation like that? And that you would have had to give this class the entire summer for us to do that. And another big thing is don't do filler words. Don't put and at the end of every sentence. Don't say and just hold it out between words. Just fill the space. Hopefully this will help me with that. I try not to do that anyway. I try not to put like all the time. Try to put so at the beginning of every sentence. Trying to say and between every thought. But we'll see. I don't know who will be critiquing this podcast, but this is the way people talk. This is the way I talk. My English, unlimited English, the words in that English language are even more limited. Even those words I know, I don't know how to spell them all, don't know what all of them mean, but I'll get close enough. So length of how time period of an episode, that would be interesting to see how long it goes. I don't know how long it goes. There's in this area, there are some times, no, not times, clocks around with times on it, but I don't know what time I started. Can't see them the best. I guess that's one benefit of not having the best vision. My vision isn't bad enough that I need glasses, but it's also not bad enough. Well, I forget what I said. It's not bad enough where I need glasses, but it's not good enough where I have good eyesight, like a pilot or something like that. It's right on that edge where the eye doctor's like, the eye doctor said you could get glasses, but they don't benefit me. Because going to the eye doctor, graduate, I graduated from school, graduated from university. The eye doctor is some of the most stressful tests that I have taken. I've been going since I was a little kid. Going there, going one or two, one or two. I sound like I'm guessing. Every answer I give is like a question. Two? And the eye doctor's like, okay, two or three, two or three. I'm like, I think one was better. Can we go back to that one? I don't know. There's typing away on that little screen they have there, switching things up, putting letters up there. I don't think they use the entire alphabet. They only use limited letters up there, at least from what I've seen. From, well, from the letters I can somewhat make out. They're kind of like the waters that are put in water, where it's like you can kind of see what it is, but it's not 100% clear until the water settles. That's kind of how some of the letters look. But I don't think they use the entire alphabet. See a lot of R's, see a lot of S's, T's. Maybe it's letters with like sharp. No, because there are O. I've seen O's. Don't see a lot of J's or I's. I don't know how they decide that, but some of the most difficult thing, some of the most humbling. I think that's how I feel at that time. Humbling and uh, kind of upsetting, and kind of just throwing my hands up and like, I don't know what to tell you. So they hand you this little book, and they have images in it. One of them's you have to put on these special glasses. I don't know what the glasses are. They're not like the 3D glasses, but the fly comes up and like you can see the wings on it. Like, okay, that's pretty easy to see. Then there's a different page where it has a diamond. Then there are four circles in it. And there are about nine different of these diamonds. And they go, you start the first one. They go, okay, which of the circles is moving? Which I don't know how they do that. This stuff they have there, I'm like, this is just a piece of um it's like that like type of plastic. Like how do you get these things to look like they're moving? Then I say, oh, it's the one on the left. They're like, okay, how about the next one? Like, oh, the bottom one, the next one. None of them are moving. And I think to myself, okay, this is a trick. They're trying to trick me to make sure people just aren't guessing through. And I confidently say, none of them are moving. And the assistant just looks at me and goes, give it another try. I go, the left one. It's like, okay, I don't know if any of these are right or not. I don't know what they do with that information of if probably test something in your I'm gonna say test something in your retina because that's one of the few only pieces of the eye I know. Pupil, the retina, the white of the eye color. I don't know what other pieces of the eye. What else make up the eye? I don't know. Something else. Anyway, so I'm like, oh, none of them. Oh, the bottom one. Guess. Go to the next one. I say, okay, this is the one where they're tricking me. None of them are moving again. I say, none of them. She goes, try shaking your head, maybe shaking the book. I do that. I'm shaking my head up and down, all around. I guess again. Then eventually, I get through like half of them. And he says, like, okay, that's enough of these. I don't know if they were right, if they were wrong. Then, when the assistant leaves the room, left alone, the eye doctor's room, which these doctors, they have to account for people taking things. Anytime I'm in there, I'm going through drawers, I'm going through cabinets. I'm saying, oh, I don't have any of these at home. I could take some of these. Um, uh, what do they have? Bandages, cotton swabs, tongue depress. What are tongue depressors used for in any other circumstance? They've come popsicles. You have to eat the popsicle, then you're left with the tongue depressor, popsicle stick. Why do doctors have so many of these? They just have a crazy amount. Like, how many times are these needed? You use them maybe one tongue depressor for a patient, and that's only if they're having like a throat problem. I don't know why you got so many of them. Just have them out. Doctors have to account for people taking these things because they leave you alone in there for so long. Going through cabinets. The eye doctor's not that interesting. She didn't have much stuff in her cabinets, which being an eye doctor, she probably doesn't need much stuff. But but I looked at the book. I was like, okay, what does this look like without those weird glasses on? And without the glasses on, you can clearly tell there's like something off. It kind of like looking at a 3D movie without the glasses, which that's what I think glasses are similar to like 3D movie glasses. Looking at that book, you can clearly tell, oh, all of these are clearly moving. Then put the book back and hope for the next time I get it. Because no, I didn't memorize what the answers were. Because I only go like once a year. Not like once a year. I only go once a year for the annual checkup, but nothing really comes from it. The eye's dilated, which that's some of that's slightly annoying. When you come back, it's like I can look away, I can see, you let me drive home. My eyes are dilated to size of nickels. You're gonna let me drive home in this? Oh, I just gotta put on sunglasses. That's enough? No way that's enough. I'm driving home just hoping like the sun doesn't come through the windshield because they give you those flimsy sunglasses they give you. No way people wear those. The ones they give me are like rolled up, kind of like uh what camera film, kind of like rolled up like that. Like, okay, here are these glasses. I I haven't never seen anyone wear those going in or out. And they don't have like the parts to go around the ears. They just have like the front part of it. I look like you're just supposed to like hold this against your eyes and it holds itself there. No way. Eyes being dilated, I don't know how that works. And the pupil being dilated, so that must mess with like the nearsightedness. But it's just scary. You're like, oh, I'm going throughout my day doing all these things. Oh, let me see this text. Just can't read it. Just can't. What I did to get around it, I would screenshot things, go into the photos, and then zoom in to it. And then being from there would be 300 times what it originally was. And then you could read it, it would take a little bit, and then texting back, just pretty much doing it blind, just hoping to get the words right in there that you hit them. Could do the voice to text. That always, not always, but a lot of times when I've tried it, that hasn't worked either. Yeah, so I was at the doctor's office taking things there. Yeah, I don't know where that started from. Hey, that's podcasting for you. Don't know where things started, but it's going on an explanation of something. So I have some notes on things. I have some things to talk about. There's kind of like one note things. I don't know how long I'll talk about that topic for because it's the first episode 001. But I'm going to aim higher, make it 0001. So that way I can go up to 1,000. 9,999. After that, stop it. Say, this is enough. One short of 10,000, that's enough podcast for me. But I probably won't do that. I'll probably just put the one. Because people they have the three places for it. They're like 043. Like, I don't know what that zero is there for. We know this is 43. We don't need significant digits. That's kind of science, math, nerd stuff there, which some of that will be sprinkled in. I won't call it out every time. We're talking about significant digits. That's nerd shit. Mm, I didn't want to say that. I'm gonna try to say not words like that in my daily life. I do, but I think I could come up with better descriptions than that. Yeah, saying significant digits, that's definitely stuff nerd people do and math people get all hung up on. So I don't know why podcasts would do that. Like, just put 43. It's not difficult to change that. So I'll just put hashtag one, pound sign one. I don't know where the pound sign came from, why I started being calling that. They call it pound sign because in old movies when they used to hit each other, like they would hit that like zigzaggy thing would show up in yellow and red. And, like all these weird symbols would show up. The at sign would show up, the pound sign, the exclamation point, that pound sign, tic-tac-toe sign. Tic-tac-toe is probably older than pound sign. Tic-tac-toe was definitely around when they made the pound sign. Yeah, the pound sign one, tic-tac-toe sign one. Let's so since it is the first episode, there will be, I don't know, just going over some general things that I hope to get out of this. Hope to get more creative, more better with my English, which, hey, that's an example right there. Get better with my English, just get more creative instead of just doing all this hard math and science type things where there is a correct answer. Try to do this more ebb and flow type thing and seeing where it takes me, seeing if people are interested in hearing what I talk about, if people are interested in talking to me recorded on a podcast. I don't think this will end up being one where I have a guest on every single podcast because that's hard to find, especially not knowing people who regularly do that. I find average type people I hang out with, people, my friends, my family, but that sounds very difficult to do, especially because I'd be bringing together two people who have no idea what they're doing and not doing that regularly together. For those two people doing it regularly together, talking with one another, yeah, you can bring two people who have never done it before. But having one person who's never done it before try to host another person who that person keeps changing every time, that's pretty difficult to do. And a lot of coordination, headaches, where just having it by myself creates enough headaches on its own. But someone clean up, try to get more creative. The length, we'll see what the lengths are. Advertisements, possibly you, none. I don't know. They just come and find you. Do they say, oh, there's a new podcast. Here's 5 ads of things that you've never had before that you'll never use. I don't know how people find some of the advertisements they get. They get them as like, and thinking, you've never used this in your life. I've seen this product on 10 other shows and they start and stop at the same days. Like the advertising company said, we're going to advertise 10 companies, advertisement on each of them for 2 months and then drop, which I don't know, maybe that's all the boost that they need to get. But yeah, that's some of the inauthenticity that I not seen experience. I don't know. Maybe they do enjoy all of their products. But sometimes I get them, I think, well, yeah, even podcasters don't actively use all products they have. Similar to the TV commercials, all of them aren't only using that thing, that one product they believe wholeheartedly in it because they got enough money, which me to become a sellout, I don't know. I don't know what my price point is for that right now. How much it would take for an advertiser to come up to me and say, hey, here's X amount of dollars, advertise this product, and me saying, I don't know about that. Speaking of advertisements, I take a little break there. But because of my great editing skills that I recently acquired, I was a seamless transition, and you couldn't even tell. But if there were advertisers, I would want to have ones where I actively use the product either before or after they send free samples, which you need my address for free samples of advertisements. I should probably get a PO box so that yeah, people don't have my home address. Which some of those companies are probably trustworthy with that kind of information, but can never be too safe. Being a PO box probably more secure than my current address because you can't just have boxes and things floating around. Anyone just walking by, just grab them and go. And I won't want to miss out on any of these amazing products that provide me goods and money for some reason. But that's probably not anytime soon. But well, why would I discredit myself? That could happen anytime. This next episode, half ads, half me talking, half something else. But yeah, I think the less I talk during this, the better. Leave some open airtime for the listener to really think, contemplate the thoughts that are coming through these airwaves. Other times for advertisements, I don't necessarily want to get in this. Like I said, I've been reading. Started a few years ago where I started reading more, getting out of graduating college, having more free time. Like I gotta spend time doing something. I can't just be playing NCAA 14 the entire time because they haven't released a new one, and currently still playing NCAA 14. I haven't played the new one yet. I think I will at the end of this month, but I don't know how they get better than NCAA 14. Even I don't play online. I just play a Dynasty, and currently the Arkansas Razorbacks they've won like 4 championships in a row, 99 overall, and everything. Heisman Trophy winners, Lombardi Trophy winners, winning everything. Well, I did lose my opening game this season. Why are we talking? Now I'm gonna have to start a Twitch channel. Pinning the Twitch channel thing. NCAA 14 lost first game of the season. Happens. Kind of messing around using star players the way that a good hard-nosed football coach wouldn't have. But refocus my team and we'll get it going the rest of the season. That video game, yeah, I don't want to play online. That's I don't know, I'm not good enough to do that. And I go, you're not good enough, like play online, get better. That I don't have time to do that. Maybe no, probably not. Well, maybe playing it later this month. I'll get the itch. Then I have to upgrade everything. I don't have the newest Xbox. Now I would have to buy the games. Now I would find the online package that's best. I would have to connect my Wi-Fi router directly to it. We'll see. Maybe not right now, in the future. But the Twitch thing, who is watching all of these Twitch streams? I see on my social media accounts, oh, this person did this on Twitch stream. Oh, this person stopped by a Twitch stream. What is this just are Twitch streams just TV? I watched Twitch streams a couple years ago and it was watching other people play video games. And I thought, well, if I want to interact with this video game, I'll just go and get it. So I stopped watching Twitch streams after I got those games. I just play those games myself. But some of these Twitch streams, I don't know what they're doing. They have challenges. Maybe I just need to watch it. That might be the realization that I'm coming to right now. There's it's kind of seems just like a podcast that they're doing live but not posting anywhere else. And so I'm guessing there's a whole community of people that I have no idea what any of the names are. I'm probably not their demographic, which that's probably a good idea for them. But I don't know what they're doing there. They all have the gaming setups, the gaming headphones. And it's just not a two-way mirror. I'm trying to think of just like the podcasters looking at their reflection, the streamers are there, or like the podcasters are looking through like Interstellar, yelling at the Twitch streamers not to do this. Oh, I had to make sure I was recording because if I don't have this recording, that would just be the episode boss to the ether. I don't know what the ether is. The only ether I know about is in Pokemon they had an ether and a super ether. I don't remember what they did. But ether, I don't know, something with computers, ether. I don't know. I also no clue how the internet works. That sounds like the most made up thing. Whoever made it, I don't know where all these things are stored at. I don't know how I just connect all this stuff. Like I said, the science stuff that I know, not helpful to your everyday. You won't use it a day in your life. But hey, they gave me the degrees. But internet, I don't know how. I think internet's running through me right now. And the Bluetooth stuff, that's just all over. I think my phone, wherever it is, my phone Bluetooth always on. I don't know how it knows what to connect to things and what not to, and it's just going everywhere all over the place. I think that's the conspiracy side of things. Don't want to get into that because a lot of them, I could be convinced. Well, not convinced to follow them fully, but like, hey, that could definitely have happened. I'm not too good at disproving them. They say, oh, it happened at this angle. This person was there. This person was paid by this other group. Okay. Yeah, if that makes you feel better, then yes. If I don't have a direct impact on it, if it doesn't make me feel insecure, unsafe in some way, then go ahead. I was like, did people go to the moon? Sure. If they didn't, okay. If people were just trying to trick me, okay. If Americans and other people are trying to trick me to think this way, so this propaganda thing, I mean, okay. I mean, things are going decent for me. If I was in some country where like it's not safe, there are a lot of other problems going on, like, oh, they're trying to convince you to do this because things are going poorly. Okay, maybe I could be more forward in dealing with that and be more on one of the sides right now. I was like, sure, yeah, whoever you side with, that's who I side with. I don't know. Doesn't make too much difference for me. And that is one of the reasons that for sports teams, whatever city I'm in, I'm a fan of your team. Places I've lived, um, in Florida, I didn't grow up there, just was there for a little bit, working, going to school. Anyone I meet, they're like, "Oh, I'm a fan of Jacksonville. I'm a fan of the Lightning. I'm a fan of the Magic." Like, yep, me too. Whatever you're a fan of, I'm a fan of. I don't know, just enough of the players, enough of the stats, enough of the city to talk with them about it. Be like, oh man, these Lightning, man, they're not scoring enough. This player, 88, man, he needs to score more. Tough to win on the road. So I would just get by that way, but I would just be a fan of them. Now living in Texas, I'm a fan of every Texas team. The only one I'm on the fence about is Texas A&M. I've met a number of them. It's like I get really passionate about this, but there's something about it. Something that's just off, just enough. I was like, I think I'm a fan, but I'm also not really a fan. So they're probably on the lowest tier of my Texas fandom. But all the other teams, all the universities, I'm a fan. Doesn't make a difference to me. Yeah, growing up, I was fans of teams: Bears, Cardinals, Hawkeyes, the Spurs, kind of the Thunder. No hockey team. Like I'm not a diehard fan for any of them. Bears, bad. They had maybe one or two good seasons in my lifetime. Like I'm not gonna go out on a limb. I'm not living and dying on every single thing. So if you're a Cowboys fan, hey, same. Dak needs to get out. Need a new quarterback, new head coach. Doesn't make a difference to me. I'll be a fan of whatever they are. All right. So one of the ideas that I need to figure out is what to name this podcast. It's hard to post things places without a name, without a piece of clip art. At least that's what is for the like Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Other ones, I don't know. I don't know how many I need to send this out to. Do I send out to all of them? Uh, I think they probably make it easy to do that, but I think it's probably best to just focus on a couple. Maybe just put it on the YouTube. But even for that, name and clip art, I think cover art that'll for Spotify or Apple Podcast that would be needed there. But that's future thing. Again, as soon as by myself, trying to figure things out as I go. Maybe have a co-host in the future. A couple ideas who it could be. I don't know. Pretty contentious run between potential co-hosts. We'll see if any of that pans out. No producer. One person I jokingly asked, but I don't want to rope anyone else into this right now. So just doing it on my own. We'll see. Probably need better equipment in the future. These headphones. Don't know 100% why I have them on. I think I podcasters have to have headphones on, but there's no sound coming through them. I don't hear myself. Just kind of talking without hearing anything. There aren't videos where I'm playing clips on. Probably should make. Do I want to make it where I can hear myself? No, because then that would just mess me up. Then I would just be hearing a delay. I would speak, hear the delay of myself, and then even worse, it would be my own voice. So then I would get self-conscious about that. Think, wow, this guy needs to stop talking. He's got nothing going on up there. But if there was someone else that I was recording with, then I would need them to like interact with them. But right now, I don't know, cover up my ears. I think my ears are fine. Uh, yeah, I think they're about average ears. Yeah. Uh, so I need to figure out a name for this. So I spent some, I brainstormed some ideas. I think I know which one I'm going with, just in case anyone else thinks one of these other names are better. One of these other names is better, are better. I'll just throw them out there. And some of the I haven't looked to see if these names are taken or not yet. They definitely could be. There, I looked some up previously of just like common phrases. There's just random pocket. There are British ones with names. There's so much competition for names. That's probably why a lot of people just use their names as the podcast, which maybe I'll do that. But there's so many. And there's some where it's like, oh, they had 10 episodes 5 years ago. Like, can I use that name? I don't know. I'll have to talk to my lawyers about that. Which lawyers, they're difficult people to talk to. Hard to be a joking conversation with those kinds of people. Yeah, we'll get them on the case to make sure I don't have any legal problems. Which, what legal problems can I have? Saying this now, I know in the future something will come up and I'll look back at this and say, idiot. Why would you say that? But that's a future me problem, which that guy has a lot he needs to deal with. And for now, I'll forget it. All right, so show names. Well, okay. One of the things I was contemplating is what to put at the end of this. Do I make it show? Show like I'm not really like going out and doing things. This isn't like a TV show. There aren't skits. There aren't things actively doing. Not on the street talking to people. Those are some of the worst content of things that whenever I see those, I scroll right past. They're just interviewing random people. All they're doing is talking to people who should not be recorded, put on social media in the state that they're in. They get them when they're kind of vulnerable, not saying, not thinking things through. Yeah, and it's usually just a bunch of people. I have no idea who they are. I don't follow people who do that, but someone's finding them, and they're more successful on social media than I am. So good for them. All right, so shows like I don't know if I want to put that podcast. That's probably what I'll end up putting at the end somewhere. But like, do you put podcast? Do you put pod? I thought, I don't know, pod. That one sounds, I like the sound of like pod in the name of something. It's like experience. I don't know what people are experiencing. Didn't want to put that. Okay. Yeah, I'm just looking at my notes here on my little makeshift table. Okay, so first one I have the Jacob Barrett show. I could. My last name's not the easiest to spell. Kind of difficult. Maybe I'm not change the spelling of it. That would just confuse me and everyone else around it. Um, just my bad podcast. Um, oh, this one, I don't know. I thought about it for a second, but then thought not. Struggling with Jake. And I thought different thoughts I had. Not very uplifting. People saw this and say struggling with Jake, like, ooh, this guy's got some things to work on. Definitely 100% true. And I thought if I put a comma in there, ooh, that would step up the English. Struggling, comma with Jake, that I don't think that makes sense. But that's what I thought I had. Struggling with Jake. Um, one idea, back porch hang podcast. Would be I probably change that up. Back porch hanging podcast or back porch chilling podcast. Oh, that might be too laid back, but it might not be. Because growing up, when living in a community, there are a bunch of other people around. Yeah, everyone's had, well, not everyone. A lot of people have had experiences on a back porch, or it's later in the night. Everyone should be gone. They should go to their own places, back to their houses, back to their family, but you're just hanging on the back porch. You have those old tables, the seats, the metal seats with the cushions that aren't very comfortable. They find a way to get comfortable. Maybe there's a game out there. Maybe there's a deck of cards and you guys are just hanging out. That was one idea. Is also I was thinking about for a little bit. Back porch chilling podcast or back porch chilling. Do I need podcast in it? I think I probably need podcast in the name. That would probably help the algorithm and get more in there and bumped there. I think that's it. Is word heard before? We'll see if I click the right things and check the right boxes. To what do I got here? No, I didn't want to be a pun. I don't know, punny podcast. I still, what exactly the definition of a pun is? Is it just something that has a double meaning? Is it, oh, it means this way, but someone else could take it a different way? Is that pun? I've, I've said no pun intended on things. Not 100% sure. It's like, oh, I said a phrase that has a different meaning of something that was just said. I tried to want to go against that. And then I didn't want to put just pod in place of a name, which I kind of talked about that already. Um, Jake wound up. I say I'm slightly wound up, but that gives me that would be too stressful of a name. People think, oh, this is a wound up podcast. This isn't necessarily relaxing, something easy to listen to. So I kind of went off of that. I don't know if I like putting Jake in the title of something. Being a Jacob, people, one of their first questions they ask is, oh, do you go by Jacob or Jake? When I was growing up, a lot of people call me Jake because you're a kid. It's a fun little name. Like, oh, Jake the snake. Oh, Jake, like calling you, like gaining your attention is pretty easy, just the one syllable Jake. But then, oh, after I graduated college, I I've just been introducing myself as Jacob. There are a couple people that call me Jake still, a couple people in my family. But any of my friends now, new friends that I get, I just tell them Jacob. They ask, oh, is it Jake or Jacob? I just tell them Jacob. So I don't really want to put Jake in the podcast, but maybe I will. Because like I said, one syllable, Jake. Jacob. Maybe I will, but no, I prefer Jacob. Um, Head spinning. That's not a name. Also, I write in cursive. That I don't. Well, I know why, but it's not the best reason why. I do that because since third grade they taught it to us. Like, oh, write in cursive. Everyone's gonna write like this. Did the handwriting classes bad at those? My handwriting is never been good. Was never good in the handwriting classes. I don't know. I passed enough. They would say, oh, they would have the line for the letter. Oh, you have to write it, fill up this line. It was like, oh, how many times do you have to write it? They're like, oh, put one finger space in between each letter. No. I If they actually did that, they would have thought I had monster fingers. There was a noticeable gap in between each of the letters. So I did all those writings, new letters. So I write in cursive still to this day. There's some people where they can't read that. So if for some reason I would write them anything, it would have to be in print, which that just takes too long. Even yeah, the spacing for print's weird when I do it. So I'm trying to read what I wrote. It's in cursive, and there are regularly times where I can't read what I wrote. That's kind of what I'm going through now. And these aren't solid put together notes. These are, oh, I had some free time. Maybe something else was going on in the background, but let me try to get these notes written out. So I had some way of getting this to go. But let's see here. What other names? Want title, not too boring. Want relaxed, but not stress people out. Not a generic phrase or saying. That's it. Having a generic phrase, a lot of them are taken from what I Googled. I don't know what being a podcast title being taken is. If it means anything if someone else makes the same one, probably not the best. And then if it's just a common phrase, it might be hard to Google. Here's a Netflix series, the Nobody Wants This. I haven't looked up on Google. I don't, it probably is the top thing. Netflix probably gave them however amount of money, or maybe it's just that popular. I don't know if that's easy to find. If you make a podcast, 1 in a million, is that, well, I don't know if that is a good podcast name. I don't know what does make a good podcast name, because some of the ones you see, like, that name makes absolutely no sense. If you went up to your parent and said this name, this podcast name to them, they would have no idea what's going on with it. But for some reason, it just fits for it. Well, that, yeah, so it doesn't even matter. And the other idea I had is this something where, because a lot of podcasts, they have longer names, but then it's just simplified to 3 or 4 letters. I thought maybe I could have something like that for merch ideas. That, yeah, something with easy titles. That way, get a hat, boom, 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 3 letters, sold. That might be a little bit before I get to that stage of making merch. Because some of the podcasts I've gotten merchandise from, it hasn't been the best quality. It shrunk. The shirts are too thin nowadays. There's too thin. They need some thicker shirts. I understand some areas hot, get sweaty, but you gotta have some shirts that just have that thickness to them. And yeah, so that way people don't get as self-conscious wearing it. Be like, oh, this covers everything. There's some shirt companies that probably do that. But from podcasts, a lot of shirts I've gotten from there have been just this thin material. They shrink. So if I was to do that, that's similar to the advertisements where I would want it to be something that, yeah, sorry. I burp. That's something that I've been told. I burp a little bit sometimes. Gets a little bit loud. That's okay. I don't see the harm in it. I don't know what. Yeah, I'm not gonna go try to figure out how a burp is made. But anyway, that's gonna happen sometimes. You know what? Just gonna power through it, not acknowledge it unless someone else that I'm talking with acknowledges it. Just gonna move past it. But the merchandise, that would be something like I would want to get right, not just go out there and sell this. I don't necessarily need money from podcasting. It's something that I just want to get out, do, maybe convince some people that my ideas are right in areas that they haven't thought about before. Probably won't happen. That's okay. That's not really the goal of this. Something interesting, something new, definitely challenging. So we'll see how it goes. Okay. Secret stuff. Another reason I thought that whenever I need a name for something, not whenever, but sometimes that's the name of the Space Jam, Michael Jordan, the secret stuff in the water bottle. That's that's a common name. That's, I don't know, maybe that is easy. Probably not easy to find. Like secret stuff. Oh, that's funny. That's a common phrase. Um, let's see here. Okay, this is the okay. I think I got 2 more written down. We'll see. I don't think this one I'm about to say. I just put it on there. Nothing but a podcast. Kind of like, who says nothing but a peanut? There's one of the sports people say nothing but a peanut, and I hope that happens to some of the people in the audience where I say something and they immediately go, "Yep, it's this person's name." They're just screaming at their phone, trying to interact. That interaction would be nice, but we'll see if that happens. Nothing but a peanut. It's not Deion Sanders. Anyway, someone said that went through my mind. I was like, "Oh, nothing but a podcast." Is that a pun? No, I don't think that's a pun. I think that's just a phrase where you just put pod. Nothing but a pod. No, yeah, you can't put nothing but a pod because peanuts two, at least two syllables. So nothing but a podcast. That'd be funny. Okay, this is the one that I think I'm gonna go with, but I have to see if someone else has this. Well, if I put my name in it, someone else can't have it already. Someone figure it out. This name I think I'm gonna go with. It makes me laugh for it. Like I said, I graduated from university. I have my PhD, my doctorate in philosophy, and what I think a funny name for it is for this podcast. And it'd be kind of fitting for it, calling it Pretty Huge Dilemma, because pretty P huge H dilemma D PhD. Then I try getting clip art, depending on the font I use, trying to get the H to be lowercase. Say Pretty Huge Dilemma with Jake podcast, or just Pretty Huge Dilemma pot. I think, do I need with Jake? Um, that's something I'll have to think about as well. With the Jake part of it, I don't know if that's interesting, but definitely not a big enough name where if I put my name on something, they'll be like, yep, that's it. And with Jake, that's a basic name. Parents gave me a very basic name. There are so many Jacobs out there, Jakes. So I might just make it Pretty Huge Dilemma podcast, which I don't know. I think that's a pretty funny name, pretty clever name. Tacky, I don't know, Tacky's up there with funny. I don't know what tacky is, but kind of you know it when you see like you don't necessarily make a pre-planned pun joke. I think that's probably difficult to do. It's always like accidental because that's why people say no pun intended because it's on accident. But tacky, I don't know, kind of like walking to a house. Like, that's tacky. I don't know. I don't think this is overused. I don't think that's it. It describes me. Hard to spell. That was a question. I didn't know how to spell dilemma. I thought there was an N in it. I thought it was Dilemma. Dilemma. But I think it's with two M's. That if I misspelled it, I think that would be kind of fitting, but also make it hard to Google. Dilemma. But yeah, that's the name I think I'm gonna go with. Pretty huge dilemma. I'll figure out some clip art thing to make. Then I don't know, that would transition lead itself to if at some point were to take calls for people, talk to people, oh, what's your dilemma? But that's a different thing where I don't kind of make a roadmap. What first episode, then what? Advertisers, merchandise, call-ins, voice. I think, well, you can have voicemails. I don't know how to do voicemail. Voicemails can't be that hard. There are a bunch of places that do that. Voicemails, a lot of voicemail places, people send voicemails, and then the people who answer it, they're always like, they always say, "Oh, I can't answer that necessarily. I need more information. Are they in this area? Has this thing happened?" I don't know how to give them the exact right answer. I think for calling need to be live, so that makes it down. If it was just voicemails where there's no interaction, they just left them overnight, and I'll listen to them in the mornings. That could be earlier, but for that you have to have an audience grown. And some of the places that have that now, they have that audience space stable there. For me to do that now, I think it would just be my family saying, "Hey, how's it going? I heard you have this line. I'm gonna call on it because you don't answer your other phone." Yeah, that happens. Um, things get busy, can't always talk or answer. So I think if I did that right now, that'd just give them another way to try to contact me. I need to limit that. I got things to do, people to see, places to go, video games to play, whatever else I want to do, work out, read, eat. sleep. Yeah, is that all I do? Yeah, other things. I don't know. Some of those things will come out as this goes on. Some of the things interesting to talk about, not interesting to talk about, which I don't know. We'll go through it all. I'll probably have some topics that boring, not great to listen to. That hey, that happens. There are points that'll be interesting, topics, tangents that go on unplanned. That's why I didn't put a script together of, oh, this is exactly what I'm going to talk about. This is it. I can just read this off a teleprompter like a speech. It'll be free flowing. Some of the things I brought up already. I didn't know that was going to happen. Hey, that's the fun. That's the creativity. That's the ebbs and flows. I don't know what'll people be interested in, what they won't be. People had similar experiences. People want to hear about things. I'm just out here. Am I a common man? What's a common man? I don't know. I think I'm pretty average at things, not overly um I don't know, great in one specific area. They said I have my PhD. I don't know if I want to say that. It's not interesting. Feels maybe not. People think it's more difficult to get than it actually is. There's some areas where biology areas where they could spend 8 years doing it. That's a lot more difficult than what I did. I just kind of went to school for 4 more years, presented some things, and the advisor was like, okay, here you go. I didn't spend crazy amount of hours doing stuff. I spent decent amount, but it's nothing crazy. But sometimes I like to bring it up, see if people respect it more, which for some reason some people do. I don't. Well, I respect that they got it, they have it. But like, it's nothing crazy. There are letters people put after their names. I don't know what they mean. People have a bunch of certificates, a bunch of letters. I don't know what they mean. Masters of something. I think they're, oh, yeah, that's what I was gonna say. For, yeah, podcast, if I make like a PhD, is that an acronym? I think that's an acronym where each letter stands for something. I think that's it. If I did that, eventually at some point, some of the listeners that, oh, you guys can put PhD after your names, that's fine. I don't know. You can do that now. Doesn't make any difference. But yeah, I don't know if I wanted to bring that up because it's not the most interesting thing. Gave me some experiences, but it's not anything crazy. There's just I don't want to leave college yet. I thought let me just extend this out a little bit. Okay. Um, okay, so my topic ideas, most thing I talk about, I really didn't have none of those are topic. Well, these topic ideas are just how I want the podcast to go, which I talked about that, not talking about training topics. I also might time capsule the episodes. I don't know, maybe I'll do that. I don't know if people are interested in that, not breaking news for things. So maybe like saying what time it is. I mean, from you can kind of tell what season it is. It's the winter season, but this could be any time after Thanksgiving. Even this year, Thanksgiving, people were putting up Christmas trees before Thanksgiving. So that might give away what time of season it is. Most people have them up way after Christmas. Which is there a date cutoff? Because it's funny enough, people wait until after Thanksgiving, but when they take it down, New Year's, that's a little soon. That's just a week. Oh man, I'm about to sneeze and I don't know how I'm going to deal with it. Am I gonna let the sneeze go, clip it out? I'm scared if I do that while editing it, I'm just gonna delete everything. So I kind of want to just leave everything in there and then I'll just leave it all in there. And then if for some reason I want it more professional, then I'll take it out. But I kind of just want to leave it in there. That makes common man. But I don't think I want that. I need to stop saying that phrase, common man. I don't know what it means. Kind of made up. No one really knows what it is. Some people think everyone's common man. Some people Some people don't think they're common at all, but that was bad. That was a bad topic. Okay, it happens. I don't want to apologize because that was a bad precedent. No, I'm not sorry for it. There are times where people over apologize for things. Everything is to happen. Like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. They're not. Sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. That can annoy me occasionally, where just running in someone's hallway, like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Lady, it's okay. Man, it's okay. Just go. It's all right. Yeah, some people overdo that. I'm not going to do that. Some people don't enjoy that part of me. I don't over say I'm sorry about things. Okay, what do I have here? Uh, Travel. Sure, some I don't travel too often. Some travel things will come up. I have apartments versus home. That boring. There's so many different areas to go on that, but it's not. There's never a conclusion to it. People are going to think what they want. Country versus city versus suburb. I know those are just preferences of things. Hard to sort of have a debate of things by yourself. It's hard for a person to see, oh, these are the two sides. These are the reasons for side A. These are the reasons for side B. I don't know, it's hard for a single person to do that. Though in the future, if I come up with good ideas for that, but so far I haven't. That's what I think. Frank, oh, this is something we'll get to. Oh no. Oh no. I need to feel my nose running. I don't know if it's able to tell on TV on TV. Maybe we're watching this on TV. I'll put it on the YouTube. Maybe. And just pull it up and see what happens on there. Oh no, I don't like that. I think I'm gonna have to pause and figure that out. Or I don't know how much longer. Could just wipe it. That tempting. Tempting to do that. I cut away. Put away this other thing. Advertisement. Insert here. No. I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to pause it and do that. I wonder how it will turn out with pausing multiple times, but we'll see what happens. I think I don't wipe off enough. I need to get kind of ran out of facial tissues. I need to get some of those, but I'll figure that out. I'll figure that out. Ranking, tiering, drafting things. Oh, I could have some. Stop clicking a pen. Does that be annoying? There's some people sit around in classes for things. They just click pens in meetings. It can get frustrating. I like to take pens apart. I don't know. There aren't many pieces in it. It's not too interesting. It's a spring, a clicking part, but it's not that interesting. So I need not do that here. Ranking, tiering, drafting things. Oh, oh man. Okay. The drafting things, one person draft, I get all the best picks, all of them. Some of those, uh, for another places drafting tier things, I'm sure eventually at some point I'll fall into that. I don't know, not fall in. I mean, it's like a common thing. Some of them are interesting. It's more interesting when it's kind of like open-ended, like ranking, tiering, drafting ideas of things. Like people have to be creative. Well, yeah, that's something I enjoy seeing. Some have come up with creative answers to problems of things. It's not just where there's a standard list. Oh, draft states. Okay, that's interesting. There's definitely some that are better and worse than others, but there's a finite list of those. Drafting letters. And yeah, there are some that look cooler, easier to write, but stuff where there's like an easily quantified finite list. So an easy like list of things to do. Oh, there's 50 of these, there's 20 of those, there's 75 of these. That's not as interesting as like the areas where it seems where possibilities seem more endless of things. Those are more interesting. So maybe I'll come up with ideas for that. But that would be and something ranking and tiering things, I guess to do that by myself. That's always nice way to put things on social media, flip things. I don't know how I'm going to flip things. I don't know what from this podcast I would flip. For some other solo podcasts, they have producers, they talk to them, there's some interaction there. They see, oh, the co-host laughed at that. This, well, also the first one, and I really haven't said anything funny. But even some clips online don't necessarily need to be funny. But I don't know what hit, what didn't. If I have to listen to this back, oh, I that dread just kind of hit me. I am gonna have to listen to this back. I don't know how long it's going for. Am I still recording? Please. Okay, I think I am. That I'm gonna have to get better at doing that. Yeah, I don't know. I think I know how to. Do I know how to clip something that will be interesting? Then I gotta make social media accounts. I don't think that's difficult to do. I don't really want to use my personal account to push things. That well, first personal account, not that many followers, friends, things like that. Don't really want to push that. And there are people I don't talk to. Obviously, there are people on social media that I follow or friends with that I don't talk to. I don't necessarily want them. Well, I would. Hey, anyone, you can listen to this. Don't talk to me about it. Don't bring it up in a conversation. You can go ahead, add that uh, add that listener count to one. Go ahead. So that's been something I kind of thinking about is if I want to, I'll definitely make its own account, but I don't know how much I want to push it with my own. Because then people think, oh, his own account's just pushing this other thing. Why he's not putting any personal content on here? Probably something, I don't know. I know what social media is, know how to post there. I don't know the ins and outs, what makes things more interaction for people, what makes things less. We'll see. Okay, reasons for starting it. Okay, I'm skipping that. Why do I have that written down? So this is probably one of the least interesting things, but I'll just end with this kind of topic probably, which do I want to say this in? Because maybe I'll strike something and this will just keep going on. What recently cut my fingernails, I get ingrowns not super easily, but they're not uncommon in my fingernails. But so I just cut them myself. I don't know if I would enjoy going to get a manicure. I know there's some people who, well, yeah, there are a lot of people who do, but I had one person push back my cuticles. That doesn't even cuticles. Yeah, the top of my fingernail. That is, it wasn't pain, but it was not, it definitely wasn't enjoyable. I don't think going to a manicure place that would be something I would like doing in the slightest. I was there. Well, that's more like the foot places, places that you hear horror stories about, where it's like, oh, this person lost his feet. But those are usually like the places where like, they have those fish that eat the dead skin off. I don't think that would happen with my fingers. But I need to get better at doing that. And as I'm saying this, I keep thinking, stop talking about this topic, go to something else, end it, find a way to end it, but I can't because it's what I think. Why letter monogram out that DC, like I said. I got better, get better at taking notes throughout this week. I'll try to get better ideas of things to talk about, more interesting. I said for this, I don't know how long this to go for. There's probably any time more than zero is too much time for me to talk on a podcast. So this is definitely surpassed that. Maybe I don't know if I'll make it through the whole thing. It'd be difficult if a podcast host didn't make it through an entire episode of their first show on the first viewing. I should probably listen back, make sure. I don't know, something that I want to put out to people. I'll probably have a couple people test run it. Or maybe this will be an episode no one ever listens to. I'll just keep it in the vault, keep it for myself for a rainy day when I'm bored. But we'll see how that goes. I think that's all that I want to talk about. Thanks for listening in. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. I'll have to find a better way of saying that. Maybe there isn't a better way of saying it. Maybe that's the best way. Maybe I'll chat GPT it. Maybe I'll chat it. I'll see if I can find a better name for that as well. I'll ask ChatGPT what is a good verb to use where he found thing, where he looks up and up on ChatGPT. All right. Thanks. Talk to you guys later.